Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the St. Andrew's Pipe Band for playing the processional today. Let's give them a round of applause. I'm Nolan Atkins, Provost at NVU, and it's my great pleasure to welcome the class of 2025 here today. Let's give them a big round of applause. It's now my pleasure to introduce the members of the platform party. Dr. John W. Mills, Interim President. And Dr. Emily Scott, Assistant Professor of Psychology and our guest faculty speaker. I now invite everyone to enjoy this video of our alma mater. I now invite Interim President John Mills to the podium to offer his remarks to our incoming class.
Thank you. So, are you excited as I am to be here? That's not excited enough. One more time. Are you excited to be here? All right. That's a lot better. Yeah. All right. We got to engage you. So here you are. You are home. A home where you're going to find what makes you sing, what makes you tick, and what makes you soar and gives you comfort. A home where you will find your direction if you haven't already done it. A home where you will meet your new best friend, where you explore a subject matter you never even knew existed. Is it scary? Yeah. I remember when I did it. Exciting? Absolutely. And filled with the most important thing, opportunity every day. This is NVU, Northern Vermont University, a place where you will be known. That's what we say all the time. We take that seriously here, and we mean it in every way. You'll be known by your professors, for your hard work, for your smarts. You'll be known for your love of the outdoors, for the mastery of your snowboard, and as the leader, others will follow. You'll be known for your confidence, your connections, your compassion, as the friend everyone can rely on. Whatever it is, rest assured that at Northern Vermont University, you'll be known by your community, your professors, and your peers. Now, we have something in common, you and me. This is just my 5th day here. You see, I am new here too, and I'm so pleased to stand before you as your new president. Northern Vermont University already feels like home to me because you've been so welcoming from the students and the staff and the faculty. They have embraced my start in this new journey for me. You see, I spent more than a decade decade of my career at a small rural college set in the Adirondack Mountains. And I hail from Montana, the land of the big sky. And both of these regions are a lot like northern Vermont and our beautiful hilltop campus at Johnson and Linden. Small towns where knowing your neighbor matters, incredible outdoor opportunities with places to walk or run, sit in the grass, gazing at these incredible views, look up to the stars that go on forever, and jump in a cold and crisp lake, fish, snowmobile, and climb craggy mountaintops. Through these experiences, you'll build an even greater sense of self than you have today. You'll have the chance to explore a region that extends far beyond your classroom, out into the whole world. One of the really cool things about our campuses is the proximity to so many of these experiences. Again, world-class skiing at Stowe, Jay Peak, Smuggler's Notch, theater and music, quality theater and music right here on campus. The Long Trail, the nation's first long-distance hiking trail, just down the road. A coffee shop to sit and talk with a friend, and the Lamoille River and unlimited lakes and ponds nearby. And we are just a short drive to Burlington and just a bit longer to Boston and Montreal if you want that big city experience. But you will also find enough to keep you on campus, clubs that meet your liking, and the ability to start new clubs if you find something's lacking. But whatever you do, get involved. You are unique. You are entering a college during a time of great unrest in the world, a time of enormous change, a time when a lot is at stake. Our world is facing racial strife, changing weather and climate change with fires and flooding across the globe, a global pandemic. Challenges to our democracy. That's a big backdrop for anyone to enter college. But it is also that a world that is awakening to the possibilities of real change, substantive change, awakening to the fluidity of gender and the importance of actualizing diversity and inclusion. And your generation is in many ways leading this growing awareness and acceptance and embracing of all our unique identities. With so much in upheaval, the possibility, the opportunities of making big shifts and change is palpable. It is truly your time as individuals and as a generation. When so much is out of balance, there are so many openings to bring light and love and balance by you to our communities. And that is why you are here at NVU, because here we take that old adage that I grew up with very seriously: think globally and act locally. And I just want you to know, you'll be able to tell how old I am. I was actually at the first Earth Day, April 22nd, 1970. And I still have my pin, not wearing it today, it's back in Montana. And what it said was, save the earth, because you can't leave it. And I still have that, and of course now if you're Elon Musk, you might leave the earth, but most of us won't be able to do that, all right? That means here at Northern Vermont University, you are going to learn about and work to solve challenges that are global in nature, affecting everyone on the planet. But the solutions you develop will be valuable not only to the global community, but can be brought home to your communities, workplaces, and homes. You will be making those local places you care so much about better because of what you do and learn here. NVU staff and faculty are committed to a learning and working community. Learning, meaning that you will develop new skills and gain new expertise, both in the classroom and the outside community. But then working by putting into practice these new skills and expertise to solving problems by being directly involved with businesses, schools, nonprofits, and government agencies, confirming that your coursework All of it, within the major, outside of the major, applies directly to your career. To demonstrate that commitment to a learning and working community, this summer we launched our inaugural Learning and Working Paid Internship Program. These students receive paid scholarships to work in youth education, substance abuse prevention, and my favorite, right next to my door, or they didn't know they were there, at Yellowstone National Park. They developed e-commerce store for an outdoor company, helped manage a university athletics department, forecasted weather, and worked as audio engineers for live concerts. In other words, translating the learning at NVU into a successful work experience. Now, before I conclude, I would like to share with you how much NVU meant to a student who was planning to join us on the Johnson campus this fall. Sadly, this student, Joseph Joe Callum Sloma, died in a motorcycle accident this past April. Joe's parents said that while the family had to move to Washington for work when he was a child, Joseph's heart was always in Vermont. To him, attending NVU was coming home. This young man would have fit right in here with all of you. He enjoyed taking Keewatin campus canoeing and on other wilderness adventures, and he had a sincere passion for restorative justice. Our deepest condolences go to Joseph's family and friends. The NVU family mourns this young man and the potential of all he would have accomplished here. We consider him a part of our family and know he would have enjoyed doing North. To conclude, we are so excited you have chosen to do North. And we guarantee you have chosen a school that is going to feel just right. And I can tell from my first few days, it is feeling all right already. One reason I came to NVU, in addition to all the wonderful opportunities I just spoke about, is that I am excited at the opportunity of what we are creating with our sister institutions in the Vermont State College system. A new university, one that is going to lead the nation in the impact it will make. And you are going to have an opportunity to help shape that new university. You will be involved. In the coming weeks, you will receive a survey to start about the new name and the new brand, and that will be the first step you can make in crafting the future of your new university. We've talked a lot about what NVU offers. Now it falls on you to take advantage of the wonderful opportunities you have here. Seize them. Grab every chance you get to grow and change and grapple with things. Ask questions. Remember the old saying, the only dumb question is the one you didn't ask. Use all of what we offer here at NVU to become the outstanding person you have the potential to be. Remember our slogans: be known, do North, and most of all, enjoy your life here. Thank you. I'm learning, wait a minute. I turned the last page too soon. And now, I would like to invite to the podium our Convocation faculty speaker, Dr. Emily Scott, Assistant Professor in Psychology, who, like you and me, is new to NVU. Please join me in giving her a warm welcome.
Thank you, President Mills. So before we get started, can everyone in the back hear me okay? All right, awesome. So before I jump into my speech, I'm an attention researcher, and I know our attentional capacity is somewhat limited. and we're probably due for a break right now. So before we get started, I want to have us do this short icebreaker. I'm going to have you turn to a partner, introduce yourself, and ask them what's one weird thing or habit you did as a kid. I'm going to give you a couple of examples to illustrate the kind of content that I'm looking for. And one of these examples is something I did as a kid. So if you listen closely to this speech, you'll get clued in to which one was me. So here are the examples. There were spiders and mice in my room, which freaked me out. So every night before I went to sleep, I'd whisper the weather report in hopes that they would go outside. My parents were pissed that I was reading Harry Potter over and over again, so I would replace the hardcover with a cover of a different book so I could read it in front of them in peace. I used to eat ants. I didn't like the taste, but I kept doing it anyway. So I'll give you the next 2 minutes to turn to a partner. Faculty and staff can do this too, and just introduce yourself and ask them what's one weird thing you did as a kid. All right, so take the next 30 seconds or so to wrap up your conversation. Okay, so hopefully at minimum you had an interesting conversation and maybe even made a friend. So now let's get back to it. NVU students, faculty, administrators, and staff. It's an honor and a privilege to be standing before you today. If you had told me 12 years ago, when I was sitting at my convocation, that I would be up here giving this speech, I would have laughed at you. There was not a single part of me that envisioned that I would be qualified for something like this, that I had made it this far, that I would belong in these halls, wearing these Hogwarts robes, educating the next generation, and advancing science. But I'm gonna let you in on a secret and a confession, something that everyone feels at times, but rarely talks about openly. I don't feel like I belong here. I don't feel qualified to be up here. But before I get fired for saying this, just hear me out. In psychology, we call this imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is defined as the internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. For me, this means feeling that others will discover that I'm a fraud, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that I fooled everyone here. You get the idea. So how many of you have ever felt this way before? You can just raise your hands. Yeah, so if you look around the room, you can tell that imposter syndrome is incredibly common, with an estimated 70% of people reporting feeling this way at some point in their life. How many of you have heard the saying, fake it till you make it? Yeah, so you should know that everyone is faking it at all times. Your teachers, your parents, basically everyone. Feeling like everyone else has it together and that you're the real imposter is a common feeling, but a false narrative. there are many people that feel the way you do. Even though everyone feels this way, imposter syndrome can affect people differently. For example, research has shown that imposter syndrome can sometimes be a good thing because it will keep you from becoming complacent and overconfident. But if you are someone that has to prove their competence to the world again and again, imposter syndrome can affect you more negatively. For women and people of color, research shows that feeling imposter syndrome in the workplace can lead to anxiety and depression. If you're the only one that looks like you or has your background, it's easy to feel like you don't belong in that room, and it's easy to internalize those doubts over time. So like everything in psychology, there's nuance because humans are complex beings made up of our experiences, personal, social, cultural, and situational factors that drive how we react to the world around us. There's a common joke in psychology that we say it depends to every question that we're asked, but it's true. So I just wanted to preface that although we all feel imposter syndrome at times, we might respond to it differently. For me personally, I remember feeling imposter syndrome at a young age. Growing up, I wasn't the smartest kid in the room. I struggled in school, particularly in math and science, and often felt like I had to work twice as hard as others to succeed. I didn't get straight A's. I wasn't your typical child destined for PhD, brainiac nerd, unless reading Harry Potter a billion times counts for something. And yet, I went on to college, and then after some time out of school, I went to graduate school to get a PhD in psychology with a concentration in cognitive neuroscience. I felt like an imposter the whole time. I kept waiting to be kicked out for them to discover that I didn't belong, that other people were smarter and that I was the fraud. Ironically, my degree and training ended up being a lot of math and science, which should show you that that very thing you think you can't do, go out and do it. The more you feel like an imposter, the more you can be confident that you're right where you need to be, that you belong in that room. Why should we run towards the very thing that makes us feel like a fraud? Our brains are not perfect machines. If they were, we wouldn't be flawed, and then we wouldn't be human. Our judgments and instincts can be incredibly valuable, but they can also be biased and influenced by a lot of social factors and personal experiences. They are a handy shortcut for when we need to save time and make snap decisions, but they are not always accurate. And although there are many situations in which you should listen to yourself, there's nuance in everything, remember? So sometimes when we're judging ourselves, we are not always the best judges of our own self-worth. It's then that we need to turn to others. When you don't believe in yourself, believe in what others see in you. I'm here because of those people. So to sum up, imposter syndrome is really common. Will it affect you negatively? I'm going to use my favorite answer. It depends. But are there ways to cope with it? It depends. Just kidding. So research suggests that there are ways to deal with imposter syndrome. On a societal level, studies promote the need for equity. We need to live and work in environments in which diverse racial, ethnic, and gender identities are seen and have equal opportunities to succeed, particularly in leadership roles. I could go on, but the idea here is that leveling and elevating the playing field might prevent some communities from experiencing the negative effects of imposter syndrome in the first place. On an individual level, research suggests that finding effective mentors and having high perceived social support, so feeling like you have a good support network, can mitigate the negative effects of imposter syndrome. And most of all, don't be hard on yourself if you feel this way. For some of us, imposter syndrome is that guy who stays at the party long after everyone has left and you can't get him to go home. It just stays with you. But me being here is proof that it's okay because somewhere along the way, other people see the value in you that you can't see in yourself. Listen to those people and be kind to yourself. So now I get to return the favor. Lean on us. Let this community guide you, help you, support you as you discover yourself and what you're capable of. Reach out to faculty and staff That's what we're here for. Connect with your peers. At this beautiful campus, we have unique opportunities that a tight-knit community and small class sizes afford. You can get to know staff and faculty on a deeper and more personal level. And that, in my opinion, is the coolest part of this job. Lean on the community here. You don't have to go through it alone. You and me, we're both new here. Let's figure this place out together. And if you feel like your imposter friend won't leave the party, come find me. I have been in, or maybe still am in, your shoes, and I am here for you. I know you would love to hear me keep talking, but let's go get some food. So welcome to NVU, class of 2025. I know you'll do great things here.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. And I just want to say your thoughtful, genuine remarks are exactly why we made a great choice in offering you the position and are thrilled that you are here. And to conclude, congratulations again, class of 2025. I would like to take a moment before we go get our food to thank the Student Life staff for their efforts. We are grateful to Jonathan Davis, Michelle Whitmore, Jeff Bickford, Sarah Thornton, Laura Race, and the orientation leaders for their tireless work that they have done to ensure that our new students feel settled and welcome into our academic community. Let's give them a big round of applause. I now invite everyone for the welcome barbecue for all faculty, staff, and students. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you on the quad.